Yeah.
Who's first? Anybody?
When did you make the decision or come to the decision?
I told my grandfather maybe a year ago. He only had 3 days, left, and he was a huge Notre Dame fan, and I didn't come with that decision yet. I told him just so he can, go at peace of knowing, before he passed away, and I was like, hey man, Grandpa, I'm going to go to Notre Dame, and he was so happy. And I was like, hey, you can't tell anybody, and he didn't, and I didn't come with that, till later. Actually 2 weeks ago, I was like, I really want to go to Notre Dame, and I was like, I'm fulfill that promise, and now I did.
What was that time in between like for you? Obviously, you had an inkling of this was what you were going to do, but there were some things you wanted to sort out for yourself in that time.
It was, somebody say, oh, how come you just didn't commit sooner? It was a very tough decision. The opportunities that all the schools offered, it was, splitting hairs. And, I was thankful for every opportunity that they, offered and gave me, from the university and as the team itself. And, I was just truly blessed, and, you had to sort out the pros and cons of each team.
Talk about the pros of Notre Dame and why you really decided, just your grandpa, but
the pros of Notre Dame, you're going to win a national championship on the field, and you're going to win one in the classroom. And the business school, I believe, is one of the best, and I believe they can develop amazing talent guys and get them to the league. And I believe they're O-line U. I believe they're the NFL factory of offensive linemen. And the relationships I had with those coaches, will go with me for the rest of my life.
was it tough to say no to Michigan?
Yeah, it was very tough. It was heartbreaking. Everything I said and everything they said was sincere. It was a very close decision. It was, when I mean splitting hairs, it was not easy. That's why it took so long, to this point.
When did you tell them that you were going to Notre Dame?
I told them this afternoon. So it came down right to the wire, and that's where I decided I was going to go.
How excited was Coach Kelly when you
Oh man, I believe there's going to be a video released on the Zoom call. He was jumping up and down. I was like, hey coach, man, I need you to be my coach. I don't need you to get a heart attack or anything. And Coach Quinn as well. And it was just, it was a very heartwarming, experience.
What time did you call them? 5, 4?
I actually called them, a couple weeks ago.
Oh, a couple weeks ago.
Mm-hmm.
So they had to keep quiet.
Yeah, so I had to
then.
keep quiet,
Okay.
and all the way up till now, I don't believe the word got out too much. I think the crystal ball has changed, but I knew they were going to change no matter what.
Talk about this year and what you want to accomplish. Obviously, you want football to
first
be
I hopefully the governor passes this season, and then I want to be with my team. I want to get this out of the way. I want to win another state championship. I want to win the Anvil Award, and I want to be another All-Stater and another All-American. There's a lot of things I have to do in order to get those things, and they're not given. Won a state championship by one, lost one by one. So there's a lot of things set in place, but I believe we're going to have a good shot at both.
Where do you think that you still have to improve to make yourself
I believe,
happy?
the setback from the strength-wise, with everybody, from not being able to lift and stuff like that. But, Coach Richardson has been getting us in shape like crazy. When I mean conditioning, it's, we're not even putting in place. We're just getting back to where we were. And, the guys I'm seeing, I see a state championship team.
Did any of the negative perception around Michigan's in-state recruiting get to you at all during the process?
I knew that was going to happen here and there, but, Michigan was always, a great university, always spoke well of other schools, and, they're, a great team, great coaching staff, and all respect for them. So nothing really, changed my decision, and, inside and, my heart, I believe, Notre Dame was the best fit for me.
And so your grandpa lived in Pennsylvania?
Scranton, PA, and, he was a huge Notre Dame fan. He wanted my, father to go to Notre Dame, and, my dad ended up going to Pitt, and then, when I was a young boy, my grandfather always told me the pros of why to go to Notre Dame and why it's so special and why it's so prestigious than other universities. And I was like, yeah, Grandpa, he's just kind of saying, yeah, blah, blah, blah. But, as soon as this recruiting process started, I believed that I saw why Notre Dame was so special, and, I made him a promise, and now I'm fulfilling that.
Did you ever go to a game while you were growing up here?
No, the only times I went to a game were on my recruiting trips, and I believe I only went there twice.
Were you a fan or were you a fan of any team or what?
It just depended. I was kind of like a bandwagon, I'll be honest. I loved, Oregon because of their jerseys, Alabama because they won a lot, Notre Dame because their helmets and, how prestigious they are. And, Michigan, hometown, it really depended like who's going up against, and, I just depending on the game.
How close are they to winning a national title? This is their best run since they actually did with Oates.
I believe Notre Dame. I believe they're going to win the next few years, either coming up now or maybe the time I get there. I believe they have the right coaching staff put in place. I believe Kelly now knows what he has to do, and I believe he's getting the best guys in the country now.
You talked about having Notre Dame in your heart pretty much going back to last year. Was there anything any other school could have done or said to you?
No, this Michigan and the rest of the schools gave it their best shot. I believe Michigan's one of the best recruiting schools out there. Starting with Matt Dudek, Coach Harbaugh, Warner. They truly couldn't have done anything better. It's just what I wanted, as myself and with my family as well.
Congratulations.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
You talked about the hometown aspect. Was it tough to say, like, hey, I don't want to be right down the road?
Yeah, I've been a hometown hero for the last 4 years for Clarkston, and I want to reach out more. I want to start to build my own path, my own destination, give the young guys, young kids, someone to look up to instead of just going right around the block. I want to start to reach out. Garrett went to LSU. I'm going to go to South Bend. So now we're reaching out. We want to start to make this high school a Division I factory.
How would you grade Garrett's recruiting skills to LSU? Obviously, it didn't work out for you, him bringing you there. So.
I would say probably an E. His recruiting skills are terrible, but that's how Garrett's personality is. He's one of my best buddies, and he had his decision, what he wanted, and I had with mine, and we would love to team up, and from flag football to Chiefs to now in high school and potentially college. But like we said from the beginning, man, I'm going to do what's best for me, and he's going to do what's best for him, and hopefully at the end of the day it works out. But it didn't, and he's going to go play with the best college football team, second to Notre Dame, and I'm excited for it.
Congratulations.
I appreciate it.
Rocco.